After my 2 videos analysing Lain, I became interested in making a video summarising interesting facts about Lain and talking about things to do with the show that are both widely known and, more interestingly, barely touched upon. Serial Experiments Lain can be considered as having 3 creators. One is Chiaki Konaka, who wrote every episode of the show. A big fan of SF and avant-garde content, Lain was the perfect show for him to write. Kanada's other most notable works would be writing Hellsing.
Your beauty makes me want to drop down to my knees, caress your legs, and prove how much I admire beauty such as yours. But that sort of game is reserved for younger gentlemen. Still, I feel very fortunate to have met you at that party. I just know that you're the kind of person who will truly appreciate my strange new appetites.
As well as creating the Devilman spin-off show, Devil Lady. He also worked on some Digimon shows and is infamous for trying to add occult influences to the franchise. The second spiritual creator is Yoshitoshi Abe, who designed the characters in Lain and of course Lain herself. He had previously been a well-known graffiti artist when he was a teen in Tokyo. Lain was the first anime he worked on, and he ended up being a key animator on the show as well as the character artist. He would go on to create and write Haibane Remy after Lain, as well as being the character designer for Technolize and Welcome to the NHK. The third and really true creator of Lain is Yasuyuki Ueda, who produced the entire project and who originally conceived it. Ueda is known for having a very hands-on approach to producing, with him closely working with his staff. He actually found Abe, the character designer, through the internet, as he had been posting some of his art online, which is really quite ironic when you think about it. The Japanese voice actress for Lain, Kaori Shimizu, was only about 14 at the time, which is the same age as the character, with her likeness actually being some of the influence for the character. She also features as the actress in the short Devices segments that were made for the show, each of which focuses on a different part of her body. She has gone on to do various VA work, as well as appearing as an extra in the film Babel. Lain's English VA has a very interesting history of work as well, mostly doing background VA work for various films, but sometimes playing important characters in the anime. The most interesting fact about her is that she is the model in the poster for the first Evil Dead film. This is despite her not actually appearing in the film, and just doing voice work for them, and various other Sam Raimi films. Other notable VA roles include Rem in Trigun.
There are many other types of flowers on Earth of all different colors and shapes and sizes. They hold a very special place in people's hearts.
Can you eat them, Rem?
Some flowers can be eaten.
Do you like flowers?
I love flowers, especially red ones. You know they can be very symbolic. Even the tiniest flowers which brave the elements behold a magnificent strength. And Vash, in the language of the flower, red geraniums represent determination and courage.
And Melfina in Outlaw Star.
What's the matter with you? Haven't you seen flowers before?
They're artificial. These flowers were made, just like me.
Here's some facts about the show itself. The word Pishuke, used in the show for the name of the processor chip, is Greek and means soul, mind, or spirit. The text that appears in Lain to show various characters' thoughts is likely a reference to French New Wave director Jean-Luc Godard, who used a similar technique in his films. Episode 07's Society was aired instead of another anime on an American channel after 9/11. Footage from the broadcast still exists, and there's a well-known video on the topic. The coloured B at the end of each episode is a reference to BOS, which was founded by a former Apple executive. Furthermore, the fictional operating system Copland, which is used in the show, is a reference to Apple's codename for Mac OS 8, Apple's own operating system. All of the navis in Lain seem to be based off of Apple products, and use similar UI elements to them at times. The song Duvet by English band Boa was explained to be used in the show at OtakuCon 2000 by the band's singer Jasmine Rogers. Quote, "A representative of the band's producer was also a friend of Lain's producer, and he made the connection. The song's lyrics also led to the decision. A child that was falling through the air, that was the way it was explained to me." Ueda and Abe also appeared at the con with some of what they said, as well as some photos, being archived through an old website which blogged about the con. I would like to quote a large portion of the website's blog, as I think it's worth hearing. Quote, "On Saturday, a fan at the Serial Experiments Lain panel asked two key figures in the series if the image of a wired-wrapped Lain was meant to represent a womb of technology. The answer, much to the audience's delight, was yes. Yasuyuki Ueda left, Lain's creator, and Yoshitobi Abe, the character designer for the series, had some observations about the mystifying stream of consciousness story that uses a schoolgirl as a symbol for the computerized human of the next century. He also said that Lain's director chose the red and black color scheme because he wanted to show that the wired world is in the shadows. When a fan mentioned the scene where Lain, in her classroom, sees smoke rising from her fingertips, Ueda first joked that that's a given in Japanese high school, then added it's a way of showing Lain's separation from conventional reality. Everyone has their own reality. Just because I want you to feel a certain way doesn't mean that you'll agree, said Ueda. Dave Fleming, who translated Lain into English, added that the smoke is also a common hallucination for psychotic patients. Ueda made some fascinating observations on the series, all the more profound because OtakuCon is held, by coincidence, on the anniversary of the second atomic bombing of Japan. Quote, "I find American culture very interesting, but there are some things I don't understand. There's a feeling that there are some taboo subjects. For many countries, World War II left a lot of scars. As for Japan, this generation has forgotten about the war. They really don't look back. My grandparents died in the atomic bombing, but I don't feel any hatred or regret. Basically, I want to keep going forward." I would like to end this video by quoting from another interview with Ueda, as I think it's very meaningful, and I really enjoy his answer. AJ, I'm not sure if I'm getting this correct, but in an interview with An America last year, you mentioned that you weren't sure you wanted Americans to understand Lain. What exactly did you mean by that statement? Ueda, I talked about this earlier in the panel. It goes like this. Basically, you have American culture and Japanese culture after World War II. Everyone knows that war is ridiculous. It comes down to killing people. But what I hope to see between American and Japanese reactions to Lain is a war of ideas. Because through conflict of ideas, you understand yourself better, and you gain insight on the culture of your opponent. I don't so much want Americans to interpret Lain exactly as Japanese fans do, as I want them to hold on to their own point of view, and, in doing so, establish conflict, and hopefully, new communication.